There are times when the mind and heart seem to act in ways that defy ordinary explanation. You may suddenly feel the presence of a person from your life as if a silent message has been sent directly to your awareness. This is not merely a trick of memory or coincidence. It is the subtle communication of the unconscious, reaching across the invisible threads that connect human souls. Our inner world is far more alive and intricate than we often realize. Memories, emotions, and thoughts do not simply vanish. They reside within us, waiting for a moment to be acknowledged. When someone meaningful to us returns in thought or dream unexpectedly, it carries weight. It is as if a hidden part of ourselves, or even of that person, is urging recognition, understanding, or closure. The sensation is urgent because it touches something unresolved in the psyche, a quiet tension that cannot be ignored without consequence. By paying attention to these moments, we allow the psyche to bring forth truths that might otherwise remain buried, and in doing so, we engage with the deeper currents of our own inner life. The sudden awareness of someone who occupies a significant emotional space often reveals unfinished experiences. Human connections leave lasting impressions that cannot be erased by time, distance, or circumstance. The mind continues to hold on to these impressions, often unconsciously, until something triggers their return. It could be a familiar place, a word, a melody, or even a fleeting feeling that stirs the memory. When this occurs, it is not random. It is the unconscious signaling that attention is needed. This return can awaken unresolved emotions, not always painful, but sometimes incomplete or unexplored. These moments provide an opportunity to examine our own feelings and understanding of the past. By reflecting on these messages, we can confront truths about ourselves and our relationships that might otherwise remain hidden. There is a quiet insistence in this psychological process, an urgency that is less about immediate action and more about the need to recognize, process, and integrate the experiences that shaped us. In acknowledging them, we honor both the self and the other, and we allow the psyche to restore balance and clarity. The connection that brings a person into sudden prominence in thought is often symbolic as much as it is literal. Meaningful relationships create psychic imprints that continue to influence us even in the absence of physical contact. These imprints carry emotional energy, patterns of interaction, and unresolved questions. When the mind brings such a presence to the forefront, it is inviting a form of inner dialogue. This is not about the other person alone, but about understanding what their memory reveals about us. The urgency felt is the psyche's way of signaling that something valuable is waiting for recognition, whether it be an unacknowledged fear, a lingering hope, or a lesson in empathy or self-awareness. By observing these moments without judgment, we allow ourselves to respond with insight rather than reaction. The mind's sudden focus on another is an invitation to explore the depths of our emotional world, to discover hidden truths, and to create a conscious understanding from experiences that previously remained implicit. It is through this attentive reflection that psychological growth can occur. Human beings often experience subtle signals from their inner world that feel as though they are coming from outside themselves. You may suddenly sense that a particular person is trying to reach you in some way, even if no direct communication has occurred. This sensation is not mere imagination. It is the psyche's way of drawing attention to something unresolved or emotionally significant. Our unconscious mind records experiences, relationships, and feelings in ways that the conscious mind cannot always access. These recordings do not remain dormant. They can re-emerge as sudden awareness, emotional tension, or a persistent sense that something is waiting to be known. When you feel the presence of someone with an urgent message, it is an invitation to engage with your inner self. Such moments prompt reflection on both the past and present, encouraging insight into unresolved emotions and subtle psychological patterns. By honoring these internal signals, you allow the deeper layers of the mind to communicate, offering clarity, understanding, and potentially resolution that could not be reached through ordinary thought alone. The urgency carried by these inner messages often arises from incompletion. Relationships, even brief or seemingly ordinary ones, leave lasting traces in the mind and heart. When interactions end without sufficient acknowledgement, the psyche continues to seek balance. This imbalance manifests as a sudden, inexplicable awareness of the person and a feeling that something must be addressed. It is not always about confrontation or action. Often, it is about awareness, recognition, and acceptance of emotional truth. The unconscious mind can signal these urgencies through dreams, fleeting memories, or spontaneous thoughts. Attending to them requires careful observation and introspection. By doing so, one can discover what has remained hidden in the psyche: unspoken needs, unresolved emotions, or personal patterns that influence current life. This process is not reactive but reflective, emphasizing self-understanding and the capacity to integrate experiences into a coherent narrative. In this way, urgency is less about the external person and more about the inner need for completion and awareness. There is also a symbolic dimension to these experiences. The sudden mental appearance of someone significant often reflects deeper truths about the self rather than literal messages from the other person. Human consciousness is capable of perceiving relational energies and emotional patterns across distance, but these perceptions are mediated by one's inner life. When you sense urgency, it may indicate that an aspect of your own psyche requires attention, perhaps a lingering doubt, a desire for reconciliation, or a recognition of growth that has been overlooked. These experiences are a reminder that every meaningful relationship, even in absence, acts as a mirror to parts of ourselves. Listening attentively to these moments allows the unconscious to translate emotional signals into insight. It is an opportunity to understand not only the other person, but also the patterns of thought, feeling, and memory that continue to shape your life. By engaging with this awareness, you transform what may initially seem like external urgency into an inner journey of reflection and self-discovery, allowing clarity and balance to emerge naturally. Sometimes the psyche communicates in ways that are subtle, urgent, and impossible to ignore. You may feel the sudden presence of someone from your life, not as a memory alone, but as a message that seems to demand attention. This is the unconscious mind at work, drawing your awareness to matters that have not been fully resolved or understood. It is not about physical presence or spoken words. It is about the intricate language of emotion and thought that exists beyond ordinary perception. The mind stores experiences and relationships with remarkable fidelity, and when something significant remains incomplete, it generates signals that pierce the quiet of everyday consciousness. These signals can appear as sudden recollections, unexpected feelings, or even fleeting images that insist upon recognition. When we notice them, it is an invitation to engage in a deeper conversation with ourselves, to explore the unresolved threads that connect our inner world to the people who have shaped it. A message received in this way is urgent precisely because it carries the weight of unacknowledged emotion, the pull of understanding that seeks completion. To ignore it is to deny a part of the psyche that wishes to bring balance and clarity, a part that ultimately guides personal growth and insight. The return of someone in thought or emotion is rarely random. The human mind has a remarkable ability to detect patterns and connections, and meaningful relationships leave traces that endure long after physical separation. Even when time and distance intervene, the influence of such connections persists. When someone reappears in your awareness with a sense of urgency, it signals that the mind is attempting to reconcile unfinished experiences. These experiences may involve unspoken sentiments, unresolved conflicts, or simply the recognition of a shared significance that has been overlooked. The unconscious employs these reminders not to create anxiety, but to provide an opportunity for reflection and integration. By attending to these signals with careful attention, we can understand not only our feelings toward the other person, but also the emotional patterns within ourselves that remain hidden. This engagement is a process of self-discovery, a chance to transform vague tension into insight and unresolved emotion into conscious understanding. The urgency felt is a form of inner guidance, encouraging awareness, acknowledgement, and ultimately resolution within the psyche. Moreover, these moments are often symbolic, revealing truths that go beyond literal communication. When a person suddenly occupies your thoughts with a pressing sense of importance, it may indicate that aspects of your own inner life are calling for attention. Meaningful relationships function as mirrors, reflecting parts of our psyche that are otherwise concealed. The urgency felt may point to unexamined needs, lingering doubts, or personal growth that has been unnoticed. By observing these occurrences without judgment or immediate action, you allow your unconscious mind to translate emotional signals into insight. The message is not solely about the other person. It is about recognizing patterns, emotions, and truths within yourself that have awaited awareness. Through this attentive reflection, what first appears as an external call transforms into an internal journey of understanding. The result is a clearer comprehension of both self and relationship, and a natural restoration of balance within the psyche, achieved through awareness, reflection, and thoughtful engagement with the subtle urgencies that life presents. There are moments when an inner sense emerges so strongly that it feels as if a message has arrived directly from someone important, even when no words have been spoken. This sensation is a reflection of the mind's deep connection to meaningful experiences and relationships. Human consciousness does not operate in isolation. It is shaped and influenced by emotional bonds that leave lasting impressions. When someone who has been significant in your life suddenly reappears in thought or feeling, it is often the psyche signaling that attention is required. These signals can be subtle, a fleeting memory, a sudden image, or a strong emotional stir, but they carry a weight that demands recognition. The urgency perceived is the mind's way of bringing unresolved or important matters to awareness, inviting reflection, understanding, or acknowledgement. By noticing and honoring these moments, we engage in a process of internal dialogue that bridges past experiences with present insight. The message, though silent, is powerful, asking the conscious self to recognize and integrate hidden emotional truths, creating clarity and balance that could not be achieved through ordinary thought alone. The appearance of someone in memory or intuition is rarely a random occurrence. Even when relationships end or circumstances change, the impressions left by meaningful connections persist in the unconscious. These impressions are not static. They interact with ongoing experiences, surfacing when the psyche identifies that further processing is needed. A sudden awareness of a person may point to unresolved feelings, unexpressed thoughts, or unfinished understanding. The unconscious signals these urgencies not to provoke anxiety, but to encourage reflection and reconciliation. By observing and contemplating these moments, we can uncover subtle truths about our emotional landscape and the ways in which past relationships continue to shape our present. These signals allow us to respond with thoughtful reflection rather than impulsive action. Attending to them strengthens self-awareness and helps integrate experiences, transforming what might initially feel like an external call into a deeper understanding of the inner world, fostering growth and insight in the process. Additionally, these experiences often have symbolic significance, revealing aspects of the self that require attention. When someone suddenly appears in thought with a sense of urgency, it may be less about their current state and more about the inner life of the observer. Relationships act as mirrors, reflecting emotions, desires, or patterns that remain unconscious. The mind uses the sudden prominence of another person to highlight what has been overlooked within ourselves, unresolved tensions, unrealized growth, or emotional truths that need acknowledgement. By reflecting attentively on these moments, we allow the unconscious to communicate insights that deepen self-understanding. The urgency experienced is a reminder that attention, awareness, and reflection are necessary for psychological balance. Through this process, the seemingly external message transforms into an internal dialogue, offering clarity, emotional integration, and a richer understanding of both self and the enduring significance of human connections, ultimately guiding personal insight and harmony. There are times when a sudden awareness of someone from your life emerges with a weighty sense of urgency. It is as if a silent message has arrived, demanding attention without any physical communication. This experience is deeply psychological, rooted in the unconscious mind's need to bring awareness to unresolved or meaningful emotional content. Human consciousness is intricately connected to memory, emotion, and past relationships, and it continually seeks coherence and understanding. When someone who has occupied a significant place in your inner world resurfaces in thought or feeling, it is rarely coincidental. The mind signals that there is something important to notice, to reflect upon, or to understand. These signals may present subtly as fleeting memories, unexpected feelings, or sudden mental images, yet they carry an undeniable insistence. Attending to them allows the psyche to bridge gaps between past experiences and present understanding, offering clarity and balance. The urgency felt in these moments is not merely external, it is an internal call to acknowledge, integrate, and process emotional truths that have been lingering beneath the surface, often overlooked in everyday consciousness. The reappearance of someone in thought or emotion often reflects the lingering influence of meaningful connections. Relationships leave psychological traces that do not simply vanish with time or separation. When the mind brings a person to attention with insistence, it is usually signaling that there are unresolved aspects of emotion or perception related to that individual. These might include unexpressed sentiments, unresolved questions, or unacknowledged shifts in understanding. The unconscious employs such moments as opportunities for reflection, offering the chance to examine emotional patterns and recognize the ways in which past experiences continue to shape present life. This process is not meant to provoke anxiety or immediate action, but to cultivate awareness and integration. By engaging with these signals thoughtfully, we allow hidden truths to surface, providing insight into ourselves and our relational patterns. In doing so, the urgency transforms from a source of tension into a guide for emotional and psychological clarity. Furthermore, these experiences often carry symbolic meaning that extends beyond literal interpretation. The sudden prominence of another person in your thoughts may highlight aspects of your own inner life requiring attention. Relationships act as mirrors, revealing parts of the self that are otherwise unconscious. When urgency accompanies such reflections, it may indicate unresolved emotions, unrecognized growth, or inner patterns awaiting acknowledgement. Observing these occurrences without judgment enables the unconscious to communicate insights about personal development and emotional awareness. The apparent external message becomes an internal dialogue, guiding reflection, understanding, and emotional integration. Through this attentive engagement, one can transform the experience into a meaningful journey of insight, creating psychological balance and deepening awareness of both the self and the enduring significance of human connections. There are moments when the mind and heart sense a presence without any tangible signal, as if a message from someone significant has arrived silently. This is not merely imagination, but a manifestation of the unconscious bringing attention to important emotional matters. Our inner world stores experiences, relationships, and feelings long after their external circumstances have ended. When someone who has been meaningful reappears in thought or evokes a strong emotional response, it signals that there is something unresolved, significant, or ready to be understood. The sensation may emerge subtly as a fleeting memory, a vivid image, or an unanticipated emotional pull, yet it carries a distinct urgency that cannot be ignored. By noticing and reflecting on these moments, we allow the psyche to bridge past experiences with present awareness. The inner message seeks recognition, and engaging with it can offer clarity, understanding, and emotional integration. Such urgencies are invitations from the unconscious, asking us to confront truths that have been left unattended, ultimately guiding the mind and heart toward coherence and balance. The return of a person in thought is rarely coincidental. Human relationships leave lasting impressions that continue to shape our psyche long after physical separation. These impressions persist beneath the surface, surfacing when the unconscious deems reflection or awareness necessary. When someone appears suddenly in our mental or emotional space, it may indicate unexpressed feelings, unresolved experiences, or lessons yet to be fully understood. The urgency that accompanies these moments is not meant to provoke immediate action, but to encourage contemplation and self-reflection. By paying attention, one can